In this video, we'll be going over the top 10 upcoming games in April of 2016. Let's get right into this. Number 10, Tales from the Borderlands. Tales from the Borderlands is finally hitting retail in April. Developed by Telltale, Tales from the Borderlands is the typical episodic graphic adventure that you'd come to expect from them, but this time it's based on Borderlands. It initially sounded like the most ridiculous concept ever. How would a first-person loot-fest shooter work as a Telltale-style game? Well, they delivered big with Tales from the Borderlands. This is one of the most hilarious games I ever played. From the characters to the writing, it was so well done, and everything made so much sense in the Borderlands universe. If you're a fan of the Telltale Games and Borderlands, this is a must-play. It's one of those games that I never knew I wanted. Tales from the Borderlands comes to retail on April 26th. Number 9, Dungeons 2. Dungeons 2 was released back in April of 2015 on PC, and now it finally comes to the PlayStation 4. The game is a direct homage to Dungeon Keeper, a strategy game released in 1997. You have to hire minions from a portal. They gain levels and can be trained to be upgraded. You have to appease your minions so they continue to obey you. Dungeons 2 has two playable factions, the Horde and the Demons. However, the single-player campaign mainly focuses on the Horde, but obviously both are present in the multiplayer maps. Strategy games are still few and far between on the PlayStation 4, so keep an eye on this when it releases on April 26th. Number 8, LICHDOM BATTLEMAGE. Another game that was originally first released on PC, this one back in August of 2014. Now LICHDOM BATTLEMAGE comes to consoles in April. The game is a first-person action RPG where you play as the central character known as the Dragon. You play through a linear world connected by checkpoints. Magic is a big part of LICHDOM BATTLEMAGE, but unlike other games, it doesn't require any form of a resource pool. You can just cast it without any limit. The PC version was praised for the story, graphics, and voice acting. However, the game was criticized for the lack of variety and for being repetitive. LICHDOM BATTLEMAGE releases on April 19th. Number 7, Dead Star. Dead Star is a multiplayer space combat shooter developed by Armature Studio. You're banished to the edge of the known universe for the crimes you committed, and you must fight to survive in a prison known as the Waste. You'll be able to pilot a variety of different ships through procedurally generated battlefields, all while fighting other players and capturing outposts to gain control of the region. The game will also have hundreds of different ship configurations, and best of all, PlayStation Plus subscribers will get the game for free on April 5th. Number 6, Dirt Rally. Another game released first on PC and now coming to consoles is Dirt Rally, developed by Codemasters. Dirt Rally is a very well-received off-road racing game. The game is a sim and there will be a learning curve for beginners. The physics and the graphics are very good, and the console versions will be running the game at 1080p and 60 FPS. With all the regular sim racers releasing these days, Dirt Rally will offer something different when it releases on April 5th. Number 5, Invisible Inc. Invisible Inc. is a turn-based tactics stealth game with roguelike elements. You play as a remote operator for an espionage agency that has come under attack. You'll have 3 days to prepare for your final mission. In that time, you'll have to guide the agents on a variety of different missions to retrieve information, valuables, equipment, and personnel. Missions are turn-based, and each unit has a limited number of points to use per turn to perform actions, a bit like XCOM. If an agent dies, they remain dead for the remainder of the playthrough unless dragged to an exit by another agent, and if all agents died, the game is over. Invisible Inc. is definitely not for the impatient gamer, but those that like more strategic games, check it out when it releases on April 19th. Number 4, Alienation. Alienation is being developed by one of the most consistent developers on the planet in Housemarque. They put out games such as Super Stardust, Dead Nation, and Resogun. Their latest game, Alienation, is a twin-stick 4-player co-op shooter where you have to fight off hordes upon hordes of enemies. And just like Housemarque's previous games, Alienation has some stellar visuals for a downloadable title featuring some amazing particle effects. Alienation is right around the corner, set for a release on April 26th.
I'm away.
Number 3, Ratchet & Clank. Ratchet & Clank is finally making its long-awaited PlayStation 4 debut. While this game titled just Ratchet & Clank isn't a brand new game, rather it's a reimagining of the first game in the series based on the upcoming film. This isn't like the typical HD remake though. Ratchet & Clank is being built ground up by Insomniac for the PS4. However, there are things players of the first game will notice, such as specific boss fights, weapons, etc. Visually, the game looks amazing, and just the fact that Ratchet is finally coming to the PS4 is something to be excited about. It's almost here, as Ratchet & Clank is expected to release on April 12th.
Boy, that's not good. Looks like the Blarg have reached the city.
Looks like the Puffboys are giving them a run for their money.
We won't be able to reach my friend until the...
Number 2, Quantum Break. Quantum Break was one of the Xbox One's most anticipated exclusives. Now it's no longer a full exclusive, it's coming to Windows 10 PCs as well. More people get to play Remedy's latest game, and you really can't complain about that. Quantum Break is an action-adventure third-person shooter with a big focus on time-bending gameplay mechanics. You play as Jack Joyce, who can manipulate time to unleash a time blast, time rush, which lets him dash to an enemy. He can speed up time and swap between covers instantly. He's got a time shield as well, you get the idea. Outside of the pure action, the game will also have environmental puzzles. And outside of the gameplay, Quantum Break will also include a built-in digital show. After playing through a segment of the game, an episode of the show will play. The game tells the story of the protagonist, while the show tells the story of the antagonist. Quantum Break releases on April 5th. Number 1, Dark Souls 3. Who would have thought that nearly 7 years ago, From Software would begin one of the most successful video game series of all time with Demon's Souls? For a while, we thought that Dark Souls 3 would be the final game in the series, but that's actually not the case. Instead, the game is seen as a turning point for the series and From Software as a studio. Dark Souls 3 will feature standard Dark Souls gameplay, but with many new elements. Magic is obviously in the game, and the magic meter from Demon's Souls has returned. A new combat feature known as the Ready Stance is introduced. Those are special abilities for the player that allows you to deal much more damage. At this point, the majority of us have at least given the Souls games a shot. But if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Dark Souls 3 releases on April 12th. So that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 upcoming games in April 2016. What do you think? What games are you the most excited for in April? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.